I'm here, and we are in the Shrimp Castle, in the King's room himself. Here with Mr. ShrimpZoo, my co-host, and we are broadcasting out of Buffalo, New York tonight. It is the 22nd of September, 2020, and tonight, excuse me, we're going to talk about Israel. We're talking about Netanyahu, Palestine, United States, UAE, Israel deal, and anything else that may come up in our chat as we talk about all things Israel tonight. You got to get that set up again there, sure?
No, just go ahead.
Okay.
Technical error.
So I wanted to talk about Netanyahu's trial because that's something I actually was not really that much aware of. And I'm guessing the media is trying to keep it as hush-hush as possible. We are seeing more protests once again in Israel from some of the Israeli citizens. The Israelis have been protesting on average about 10,000 people strong every week.
Whoa, 10,000 people every week?
That's what I read this summer.
Fair?
That's on average, though. So
I mean, that might be more than America. I'm not sure.
I doubt it's more in America.
That's a lot, though.
It is. I think considering how small Israel is.
You think more than 10,000 people are constantly out protesting in America?
No, on a week. I would say on average at least a week. Yeah.
That's a pretty good size number for Israel. That's high degree of social unrest there.
Yeah, I would say so. And I don't know, even just thinking about like LA protests or New York, that's certainly at least 10,000 people in some of the bigger protests that we've seen.
Like a few months ago, but not
not on the regular.
Like when George Floyd died and stuff.
Oh yeah, that was probably, I don't even know what the numbers would be for that. I would guess in the tens of thousands, certainly maybe even the hundreds of thousands. But again, Bibi Netanyahu, as he is sometimes coined,
Bibi,
Benjamin
by his supporters.
Netanyahu is on trial for corruption, 3 different cases of corruption. One is accepting bribery, one is fraud, and one is breach of trust. He actually lost a lawyer.
Welcome to ShrimpZoo. Please like and subscribe.
What's up to all my ShrimpZoo homies checking in? Just talking about Netanyahu's corruption trial. He lost his lawyer last month on the 7th of August.
Netanyahu did?
Netanyahu did. He lost his lawyer because his lawyer was not getting paid. And
that's weird.
His lawyer just left. So
that's super strange.
He's just like, screw this. His name was Mitcha Fetman.
Why wouldn't Netanyahu be able to pay his own lawyer?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering.
That's because so bizarre.
I also read that he accepted money from his cousin, something like $30,000, which he was later ordered to repay. And his cousin gave him this money in order to help pay for his corruption trial. So why is
he so broke?
I don't know, man.
And he's on trial for corruption, but yet he's so... None of this makes sense.
And we're not really hearing any of this in the U.S. media at all, that Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, is on trial for corruption.
I knew that, but I wasn't aware he was so broken. Like all these little details
about his lawyer not showing up. I didn't know that either, or not, but resigning rather, even worse.
Netanyahu is president of Israel. Somebody asked that in the comments.
Prime Minister, right? Is he Prime Minister?
Well, for Americans, president.
Yeah. Unless you're French. Wait, I think they actually have a president and a prime minister.
It confuses me sometimes.
Yeah, they have a similar system to the French, I think, because the French president, his name is Francois Hollande.
You can say it the full French text.
And the king, or the butcher, or the prime minister is Macron, of course. Everybody knows.
You gonna call him the butcher, Macron?
Somebody else called him the butcher.
He seems so polite and like innocent, and he wouldn't like butcher people.
I don't know much about Macron.
I know he has like a way older wife, and it seems like he's well liked. I think he's liberal.
I would imagine
he seems pretty liberal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like don't have anything bad to say about him, but I don't know that much about him.
Yeah, that's why, probably.
Leave some bad comments about President of France in the comments, Shrimp Gang.
Yeah, guys, update. What's going on with Macron? Anybody know what's your take on Emmanuel Macron?
Somebody in the comments said Trump Netanyahu. They like combine the name. Trump and Yahoo.
Yeah, and this is something I was talking about with Paul Cottrell because actually I think it was on our chat too. We were talking about Netanyahu a bit and his corruption. Paul Cottrell is supportive of Israel, just to use him as an example, but believes that Netanyahu is sufficiently dirty, corrupt enough such that his removal out of office is currently warranted. I found that quite surprising because I just know Dr. Cottrell is quite supportive
and you can,
of Israel.
You can watch that interview on Addy's channel or our podcast or my channel.
Yes, yeah, please
do. With Dr. Paul Cottrell.
Check it out. I actually just I figured out how to add other channels to my channel.
Somebody said the French president supports Palestine. I believe that's true, actually. I believe I've heard that,
So on my channel, you can actually see our podcast, Pandemic Patriot, Great Awakening podcast, and Shrimp's channel, Paul's channel, and I got a couple other people on there that I've talked to as well. Ryan Dawson.
Definitely subscribe to ShrimpZoo.
Yeah, subscribe to ShrimpZoo. Subscribe to our Pandemic podcast channel. It's the Great Awakening. We're part of it. We're trying to curate a bit some of this info in the Great Awakening that's going on, and trying to be students and teachers as well if we can. But Israel, like we said, protests are reigniting, sparking up after this second lockdown. On the 16th of August, they had just 1,000 new cases. Nearly a month later, on the 14th, a week ago yesterday.
Ooh, Eddie has the COVID news.
They had 4,000 cases, which is a 4x increase.
Wait, just yesterday alone in Israel?
Last Monday, not yesterday, but a week ago Monday. A 400% increase in new cases.
Alexa,
from a month earlier.
What's the population of Israel?
According to the CIA World Factbook, as of 2017, the population of Israel is 8.3 million people.
So we got 4,000 people out of 8 million. That's a lot.
Especially when you go up from just a month before 1,000 new cases. So that that new outbreak is what caused that second lockdown, and therefore is what caused the new protests. It seems to me that Netanyahu is losing support, and Paul talked about this too.
Who do you think will be the next president of Israel? Not person, but is it going to be like an Orthodox party, or is it going to be liberal, or like?
That's a good question. I don't know much about Israeli politics. I know that
usually the Conservative Party has to give in concessions to the Orthodox Party, because even though they're the minority, they hold a lot of power and sway. And they're generally the second or third biggest, the Orthodox Party in Israel. It's usually led by like a centrist, like conservative type party. Like in America, they would probably be Republicans, and the Republicans would have to be giving into like extreme like evangelical Christians. Like that's would be the American version of how Israel politics work.
Yeah, because his party is quite right wing. I know. It's called the Likud or the Likud.
Orthodox are like way right of his.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like you have right and then way right. And just like America, they have liberals and they have Ethiopian Jews that a few of them have been shot the last year. So they have like Ethiopian Jews who are Black Lives Matter. That's what they do. They got the fist.
Wow. And that is quite the cross section there. Ethiopian Jews who are also BLM.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot like America, basically.
Well, I've been doing some research via Syrian Girl. Shout out to Syrian Girl. And there's quite a bit of evidence, too, that I've seen from both, that and other channels as well. I've heard Mr. Steele talk about this. Just the Zionist infiltration of BLM and the BLM movement. It seems to be something that has been concentrated and intentional with regard to just extending their influence over the BLM political movement, and it is a borderline paramilitary movement at this point.
Are you talking about BLM?
I would say so. I mean, you have the
Paramilitary of like white kids from the suburbs and like a few black people. It's not. I don't. It's like they're like the nerds in high school. They got picked on.
yeah.
Antifa and BLM. Because in Buffalo, it's Antifa is BLM. Shout out to the Antifa girl that we talked to today, though. She was hella nice.
Yeah, we talked to an Antifa girl. We were leaving Lafayette Square.
By the public library. You know who you are, Antifa girl. You were pretty cool. You talked to us, so that was dope. Some Antifa, you guys are not nice. You guys are mean. But this Antifa girl, she was nice. Right?
Yeah, and
they're not all bad, I guess.
yeah,
so.
they're like cops in that sense, you know.
Yeah. If you say ACAB, then I guess I'm the anti-fascist here at ShrimpZoo. Because I swear the anti-fascists themselves sometimes are hella fascist. Is the problem, and it's not making that much sense.
Yeah, you just made me think. Think of something that I was gonna say earlier. We were looking out. Well, Shrimp was looking out the window, and he saw that one of the neighbors had a Biden sign, even though he thinks that they seem to him quite conservative. And I just wanted to say that it seems to me that the identities of the left and the right in the United States, or maybe a better description or a better explanation would be,
you know why?
The identities of the Democrats and the Republicans have gotten almost like topsy-turvy in a way, and depending on the issue, they almost like flipped, where the Democrats are more likely to be offended by humor and other stuff, where traditionally you would think that is a conservative trait.
Well, my neighbors are Biden supporters, and I'm just like, I'm not really supporting or willing to die for any politicians. I'm not really into politics, to be honest. I just stay aware of what's going on, but not into politics. But my neighbors are super conservative. I feel like I'm really liberal. I don't care what you do as long as you don't bug me. So I feel liberal in that sense, or libertarian, something like that. And then my neighbors called the police on me for having chickens and like all that. They're like Karens, constantly calling the police over everything. It's annoying. But they're into Biden and stuff, but they're like Karens calling police constantly. Calling police because I got a few chickens. So
what happened to your chickens?
The police came and took them away. We had to get rid of the chickens, confiscated. Damn. They sent like letters and stuff. So yeah, so I don't know. Some Biden supporters are super conservative and like Karen and Brad's. It's annoying. I just want to have chickens in peace.
Can't even have chickens in the United States of America.
That's why I'm not into politics. I just want to be left alone and like, you get like go do whatever you guys want to do. Like, just don't come to my area and protest because I'll be mad. If my McDonald's or like my ice cream spot gets burned down, I'm gonna be pissed. But like, I'm not a fan of the police. I would love to be a fan of Antifa and stuff, but they're actually fascists themselves. It's so stupid. That's why I can't really be a fan of Antifa. Plus, they dress so stupid. I'm definitely dressing way better than Antifa. I'm dressing dope, and Antifa dress is so dumb. They got all these dumbass patches and shit on their shit. Dressed in all black crap. It's dumb. You can't really look cool on Antifa. You have to wear all these stupid baggy black clothes and patches. It's dumb. Back to Israel, though.
Yeah, Israel.
Does Israel have Antifa? They do have Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, the BLM. I actually don't know too much about extremist groups.
I don't know anything about that, to be honest.
Israel, but we mentioned talking about Palestine. What are your thoughts on the Palestine-Israel situation, Shrimp?
Me? So, okay, this will be interesting, because like, I released my DNA results on a few videos on my channel. I'm actually like, I think I'm like 2%, like 2.1, 2.3% Ashkenazi Jewish. But also, like, my mom was Turkish and my dad was like Malaysian and Indonesian, so I have like both things on my side. Like, I got like Muslim Turks and people from Indonesia, Malaysia, in my family, and my mom's side was a little bit Jewish. So, but is like Israel's definitely practicing apartheid, not like South Africa, but like to a degree. I don't know what 10-15% of what South Africa was, something like that.
You mean with how bad it is?
Yeah, except the wall is like brings it to a insane other level. Like, it's pretty bad. It's not as bad as South Africa by any means, but the land there is so small and there's so much people fighting for so small of land. I feel like they need to do one country and like work it out, but they really won't. It's bigger than Israel, Palestine. If Israel ceased to exist on the map, there would still be extremist Muslims that would want to kill every Jew left in the world. It wouldn't solve the whole problem. I don't know. Palestinians are in like such a crappy place, to be honest. Like, their whole country is embargoed. They're like all in poverty. It's pretty bad. Like, the health standards there, the water, everything. They can't get a lot of basic goods and foods, and it's more expensive. They have smuggling tunnels in Egypt, bringing goods in on a daily basis. It's bad. At the same time, in a few years, the Palestinians will outnumber the Israelis. So just by voting means they're gonna be voted out. It's gonna be tough. I don't know. There's not really. I don't have a solution for it really. I just acknowledge that there's a problem and the Palestinians are like suffering way worse than the Jews are. And I'm like, I got both things in me, so I can't be wrong.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation for sure. I personally cannot.
Chris Anderson masks don't work.
Yeah, no.
I have
I'll do that for
autoimmune and I have asthma. So
Yes, tell him the word.
I wear this for a meme. Just a meme.
Well, he also has what's it called?
Oh, you want to tell him the actual name? I have eosinophilic esophagitis. So
basically, if he eats the wrong food, he like gets really sick. That's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, basically. I'm like the 1%ers out there that get fucked up off COVID. I'm like the ones you gotta watch out for that might die off this thing. But I don't really know. Okay, go back. Somebody's requesting Addy on my. That's on my channel too.
Really?
Yo, get off of my. Yo, don't request Addy on my channel. Don't do that.
I forget what was I just about to say. Oh yeah, it was the apartheid. Yeah, I mean I don't know much about the South African apartheid. I do know that it happened, of course. I read this particular fiction book that was quite influential to me when I was a senior in high school. It's called The Power of One by Bryce.
I'm a huge
Courtenay, I think his name is, or Bryce Chardonnay.
I'm a huge Mandela fan. I like him a lot.
Yeah, maybe you could. Do you want to tell us what you know about the apartheid in South Africa? I don't know what you can share about it. Your understanding as far as like how you compare it to the Palestinian apartheid that is going on in Palestine.
Compare the South Africa to the current day Israeli situation. Well, you had a whole group based on race and power in the government and the police force. And the other group, the blacks, the native people there, although a lot of people argue South Africa wasn't inhabited originally by blacks, that like only like the Bantu people were very scarce and they weren't along the coast. So a lot of the Dutch and the English settled that area. And a lot of people say they were the first inhabitants in that area. So there's a little bit of beef on that topic. But basically, you had the whites all in power in South Africa and the native black people like confined to like slums, and they weren't in the government or in power. You just had like white presidents and stuff for a long time. And black people were treated super bad, basically compared to like how they were when America had segregation, even probably worse. And it was in Africa by white people, so that's strange in itself. It was worse than Israel. Israel is not based on race, but it's based on religion. Palestinian's not going to have any problems if he's an Orthodox Jew. So it's just based on religion in Israel. Africa was based on race. Africa was way worse. But Israel brings it to a different level because they have the border wall. There wasn't like a border wall, like walling in black people in South Africa. So that's strange. A lot of black people got killed in apartheid in South Africa. It was just worse in my opinion. There's a lot of like super liberal people that say it wasn't, but those are the same people that saying Trump is worse than Hitler, and I'm not a mega person. Well, Addy's channel's like, why are you wearing the mask? Take it off. You're stupid. Basically, when I was a kid, my parents dropped me on the head, so I am brain damaged, and that's why I am wearing the mask.
I'm here to take care of him.
So subscribe.
That's what that means.
I need brain damage surgery, so I'm wearing this mask. All right, back to Israel. What do you think? What I said about apartheid versus current day Israel? Would you disagree or would?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to me, just from what I know and what you said, that the apartheid, the original one in South Africa, was worse as far as open violence, but what they're doing to the Palestinians, I do think is evil. With you have snipers shooting little boys and children.
What snipers are you talking about?
Israeli snipers
shooting what little boys though?
Shooting Palestinian boys,
like
Palestinian
when there's
teenagers.
like infantadas or whatever, and they're like slingshots and rocks.
For whatever,
like
throwing rocks or slingshots or stuff.
Like during protests or uprisings.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll just do it for the heck of it too, from what I've read as well.
I mean, that's probably super rare. Though.
I mean, yeah.
There's not many people
shooting,
and kids and shit.
I don't know. I think it happens more than we realize, but just because something's super rare, like, I don't know. It's just like we're giving them billions of dollars. And they're pretty much using it and the NATO funding as well to wage an apartheid against the Palestinian people.
Someone said we're going down a rabbit hole.
And I read also that there is murmurs of them doing covert kinetic warfare in Iran as well, which I haven't looked into too much.
What are you talking about?
The Israelis doing covert attacks, overt attacks in Iran, similar to the Beirut explosion, which many people's eyes are upon the Israelis due to that. Now, almost immediately in the media, people started saying that it was Hezbollah,
Wisconsin.
The weapons cache. Did you say somebody's tuning in from Green Bay?
Josh H.
Nice.
He said Green Bay in the house.
Shout out to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
He's from Wisconsin.
I am from Wisconsin. They were saying it was Hezbollah weapons cache. And who would want to attack Hezbollah
at the port in
weapons
Lebanon,
cache? That would be the Israelis. And I've also looked at the math.
News outlet says it was fertilizer, shitload of fertilizer at the port or something.
No, I mean, yes, there was ammonium nitrate there, but the amount of ammonium nitrate that was present was not sufficient enough to produce the size of the blast that happened in Beirut. It was actually only about as I can remember, about 1/5 the required amount of ammonium nitrate to be needed to produce a blast of that magnitude. And this has been corroborated or estimated by several bomb and mechanical and physics experts across the world as well. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin originally, Josh. Thanks for asking. But
I still think it was probably fertilizers, but maybe like secret stash of some Hamas weapons or whatever.
I think it was a bomb. It was planted somehow. Now they did use the ammonium nitrate as an accelerant because it was basically right next to, and again, it wasn't exactly on the warehouse. It was right next to it. So, to put this past Israel, I don't think I would do that. And they're in a very,
So you really think that it's Israel?
it seems like it.
There's no solid proof of what actually happened, though.
No,
It's mostly speculation.
you're mostly speculation.
It's either the government of Lebanon, Hezbollah, or Israel. Right? Basically those three, or an accident.
Well, if Hezbollah had their weapons cached there, they wouldn't do that to themselves, would they?
But like they could have been, if Hezbollah had like super crappy weapons, like old like Russian or like old Syrian weapons or something, and they just weren't reliable, and they just had like some crappy like a few like landmines here, a few IEDs here on like shelves, and they just like exploded. No. Someone said on Addy's channel to slap me in the back of the head.
He says, Addy, slap that boy in the back of the head for me, please. Otherwise, I fear he most likely will fall prey to the vaccine as well.
My thoughts on the vaccine are, I'll take it after like maybe a few years after I see like millions of people safely take it. But I'm not going to take it right away. I pretty much don't want to take the vaccine. I need to see like a lot of people take it over a really long time, maybe 5 to 10 years. But if COVID were to mutate and like just like everybody that got it died and it was like going crazy, like in the movie scenario, then I'll take the vaccine. But for me, it's got to be proven safe over years. Shout out Jeff Rose. That's how I feel. I know he's like anti-vaccine, I guess, but
I mean, I've taken the MMR, of course, measles, mumps, rubella, HPV.
yeah, well, there you go.
HPV.
You're not that anti-vaccine then. You're still walking around. You got all these vaccines.
Well, I think those are required by law, but I've never gotten chicken pox, so I'm never gonna get shingles. Thankfully, my uncle just got shingles.
Well, did you get the chicken pox vaccine?
Yeah.
I don't think they had that when I was a kid or something because I got chicken pox. So what does that mean? I'm gonna get shingles?
You could.
That sucks. Yeah. We need to retitle this video. ShrimpZoo gets shingles.
Yeah, it happens usually in people's like 40s and 50s, I think, from what I've read.
Be 40 in a couple of years.
Yeah, my uncle got it earlier this year.
Hey, why? Let's change the subject. This is lame. That's great that you got the shingles vaccine. This guy over here, anti-vaccine, or got the shingles chickenpox vaccine over. ShrimpZoo is about to get shingles any day now. Back to Israel, though.
Yeah, back on topic here, folks. Just talking about Israel.
You want to talk about like the feminist movement in Israel? Shout out feminists.
Yeah, shout out feminists. I watched a video. You guys give us something to talk about for sure.
So feminism is great and stuff, like to a degree. Like Ruth Gator, say her name.
Ruth Bader.
It's a tongue twister for me.
Ruth Bader.
Yeah, Ruth Bader. She was a feminist, I guess. Everybody seemed like her. Trump said some good stuff about her. Biden did, so. But Israel, it's like to another degree where like women can hit men and stuff, and like it's real easy to press rape charges.
Yeah, there's no. I saw a short documentary on it. There's no penalty for Israeli women for making accusations against a man whatsoever. And because of this, I didn't realize that Israeli men are as cucked, if not more cucked, than American men are. And we actually had this conversation, I think like 2 days ago, Shrimp, but it wasn't in connection with Israel. We were just talking about American women, I think, and American men in general, and kind of gender relations in the West. And just as far as it goes with Israel, there was this documentary they did on this one guy whose ex basically kept throwing him into jail by telling the cops whatever. I think accused him of rape at one point. There was also a huge story that made world headlines with the taxi cab driver.
I saw something on RT about this too.
Yeah, and it was actually on RT. I saw the documentary, but the taxi cab driver who was in Israel, who's Israeli, basically encountered a female passenger who was unruly and wanted to smoke in his car,
I
and
saw
he didn't
that.
want her to smoke.
Oh, it's on video too.
Yeah, and he got the
Yeah.
whole thing on video. She accused him of rape, in addition to being extremely rude and disrespectful. And they arrested the guy immediately, without questions asked. But fortunately, he had the video evidence from his cabbie video camera to prove what had actually happened. And this is something that Shrimp and I were talking about happens in the United States as well. And I mentioned this actually in one of my skywalking walk-in talks that I did when I was in still in the PNW. I actually remember the day that I did it. It was one of the walk-in talks I did. I just did randomly. I think I was talking about marriage. But if you are in the USA or Israel now, as we're figuring out, and a woman calls the cops on you, you're going to jail. There's just there's no way around that inevitability. And as far as feminism goes, it's interesting because although Israel is in the Middle East, it's almost like a Western nation.
Yeah, it is strange. But like feminism in the Middle East is like a pretty good thing to have, though, in my opinion. Israel might be pushing it a little bit far, though, but they should spread the feminism to like the Palestinian areas and Saudi Arabia, Iran, Pakistan for sure, Egypt. A lot of those countries could use some feminism, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was Saudi Arabia just allowed women to drive last year.
I like to see feminism and like gay rights in the Middle East. And some like liberalism in the Middle East. They could use like a touch of all those things, I think.
And we could, a little bit more liberalism in the Middle East and more conservatism and libertarianism.
Like, I'm for gay rights and stuff, but people
in the United States and the West.
People are still fighting for gay rights, but I think we've achieved that here. I feel like we achieved gay rights here. We need to move that fight to Saudi Arabia next.
Yeah, it reminds me of something that somebody said about...
We need to move the gay pride from New York City to Mecca. We need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, it's like, well, once you've achieved your goal and you're still part of this group, you have nothing else to fight for. So what do you do then, with the LGBT?
Dude, I'm telling you,
West.
Fight to move LGBT to Mecca. That's when you have like real LGBTQ. I don't know the whole thing, to be honest, but that's when you have that whole thing, like all the rights for gay, transgender, whatever, when it's in Mecca, in Iran, Pakistan.
So Tamara asks, was BB not in trouble? He's still on trial.
He's going down, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
That's how the media is making it look, so.
He is losing his legitimacy, as we said in a previous chat. It seems to be in the eyes of the Israelis.
Yeah, you see people abandoning him and people in his support. He's losing supporters. I think he's done for.
I don't trust him. I don't trust any of them, I don't think.
I always just thought he was okay. I didn't really have opinions. I kind of viewed him as maybe as a Putin-like figure, I guess. Like the Jewish Putin, maybe.
Yeah.
To a degree. He seemed to get along with Trump.
Jewish Putin.
Is that? Can we get a meme for that so we can use it as thumbnail?
Yeah. No, yeah, he does seem like a Jewish Putin, though. He's effectively been a dictator.
Yeah, he's been in and out of power for so long, and it's like...
Yeah, I think 25 years or so, 30 years, I'm not really sure.
Dude, he's loaded.
Yeah, why is he asking for money? That's got to be a PR stunt.
He's got stuff in the Virgin Islands and all these Swiss bank accounts. He does.
Yeah, right.
He's loaded on the side. When he leaves, dude, he's going to be getting all these yachts and mansions if he's not in jail. I think so.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think it's a PR stunt then? Him pretending not to have that money?
Maybe he can't admit to it because it's ill-gotten gains.
Dirty money.
Yeah. He's riding dirty, BB.
He's riding dirty. BB is.
I think so.
And somebody asks, Israel the birthplace of true famous? I don't even know who that is.
We don't even know what that means.
Webster, you were at courthouse today on Kirsten with Channel today. Who is Kirsten, Tamara?
We were at the courthouse today. That area, we were in like Niagara Square area downtown. Go check it out. That was on my channel. I did like over an hour stream. We talked to a bunch of people about COVID, politics, protests, Black Lives Matter. We talked to Antifa, a couple of Antifas. We got you, and they were actually straight, I guess. I mean,
yeah, they were pretty.
They were nice,
chill. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it was just the time of day or something. But we just ate lunch. Well, actually, we hadn't eaten. We just picked.
They're
up
fine
lunch.
when they're in. So, the one Antifa girl probably would have attacked us in a large group, and the other one seemed like legitimately a good person.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah. So,
but she was asking about the courthouse. We were there to check out the.
We're going to the courthouse tomorrow in Buffalo. We're going back to Buffalo, talking to Antifa, Black Lives Matter on camera.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the federal courthouse too, where. Well, the BBC reported she was there today, but then I guess it was New York Post.
We ran out of battery.
Yeah, we also ran out of battery too. But New York Post, I guess, said she might have been transferred back to Washington D.C. I'm talking about the Ricin assassin.
They want her in Texas.
Pascal Ferrier.
They want her in Texas. Not really sure where she'll end up, to be honest, right now.
Pascal Ferrier, French national. I guess she doesn't speak English. She had a translator today at court. And I would imagine she will be back there again. I'm not sure if it was the arraignment or not today. But
we should get back to Israel.
Yeah, back to Israel.
Let's talk about Black Lives Matter in Israel real quick for like 1 second. They have a ton of Ethiopian Jews in Israel. And a lot of them feel super discriminated against, and they use the same like black fist, and as Black Lives Matter in America, they have like that whole. It's like the whole same thing, pretty much.
And they're Ethiopian Jews who live in Israel.
Yeah, and a few of them have got shot by police. They're saying there's like a lot of discrimination against Black Jews in Israel. They're complaining about it.
So, in your eyes, what do you see Jewishness as?
I think that's probably true, though. I could see a bunch of like white European Jews, like a few of them not liking like the darker skinned Black Ethiopian Jews, and be like, "Hey, what's going on? You guys are Black. We don't like you." I could see that happening.
Yeah, I could too. But like in your eyes, what? Because is Jewishness? It's not a race, then.
Nah, to me, it's not a race. Because like what? I like DNA wise, I'm Jewish, but I'm not like you don't see me like reading the Torah or like doing Jewish stuff. I don't know. To me, it's a race and a religion.
Yeah.
I don't practice Judaism. I don't practice like Islam either.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because it's like you can practice Judaism, but you're not like.
Yeah, it's both.
You don't have Jewish blood.
There's Palestinians who've converted to Judaism, and there's Jewish people who've converted to Islam.
Are they accepted?
Yeah, I think yeah. I think Israel will if you're a Russian person and you move to Israel and you used to be Christian, you moved to Israel, you're a white Russian person, you move there, convert, and you are able to convert to Judaism. Yeah, I'd say you're 100% accepted, just like one of them. I think so. I mean, now, if you're Black Ethiopian, I don't think you're accepted as much. I mean, I think there's some racism in Israel. Probably a lot, really, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's some racism.
I don't know what the word for it is, but there's, like, racism against, like, different religions or, like, all different beliefs, all of that. They're probably a little bit racist against Black people, a few of them.
Yeah. So
what else do you want to talk about in Israel? Do you want to talk about like the assassinations in Israel versus Iran?
Yeah, let's talk about Iran.
You call it Iran. I call it Iran.
Iran.
We'll say the French word again, dude. You said the French word like super fancy.
Yeah, I did.
All right, so
the French name, but Iran, we kind of
Iran.
get taught that they are the mortal enemy here in the United States. That what Trump just said in his speech we watched today, that they are the number one funder of terrorism
He
in the
said that
world.
today.
That speech we watched earlier today when we were eating dinner.
He said Iran was the number one.
He said Iran was, yeah. So this is something we briefly discussed after we both watched that speech. I don't personally think that Iran is the greatest funder of terrorism in the world. And you said at the time that you did not either. Has your opinion changed since the 2 hours since dinner?
Oh, on Iran. Oh, sorry, I was reading that comment. My opinion hasn't changed on Israel or Iran. I don't think Iran is that dangerous, really. Because, no, if you look at 9/11, I know you think that was conspiracy, but it was all Sunni Wahhabi Muslims. Like, every gay bar attack in America has always been, Sunni Wahhabi. All of the terrorist attacks are always Sunni. There's no Persians that have ever done any terrorist attacks, like bring planes down or done anything. None of them have ever been from Iran, and none of them have ever been Shia. Shia Muslims don't do terrorist attacks. Like Iran, they aren't breeding terrorists.
Could you define the difference between Shia and Sunni, just so people know?
Shia
probably a couple people.
Shia is basically like the Orthodox version of Islam. This is how you have Orthodox Jews, but it's like the Reformed version, I guess, more liberal version of Islam.
Shia is.
You can get sex changes and stuff in Iran, and there's they wear suits and stuff. They don't wear the niqab and the burqa as much. There's more rights. It's more of a Western style of life compared to Wahhabi Islam, like Pakistan, or in the desert in Saudi Arabia, or places like that, which would be more strict. But yeah, none of the terrorist attacks, none of the gay bars getting blown up, or the airplanes coming down, none of them are Shia Muslims. It's all Sunni.
So what are Sunnis then?
They're more conservative. They tend to wear more the burqa and face coverings, and they don't like the Shias. There's different religious things between them. They think the Shias worship idols and saints and stuff and things like that. They don't like. But there's basically never been Iranian terrorist attacks against America, though. Also.
Yeah. Before we go back to Iran, I just want to make one more distinction. Isn't there a difference between who can be a pastor or an imam with the Shias and the Sunnis?
I don't think so.
Didn't you say the Sunnis believe you have to be ordained by blood or something like that? Or
No.
you can only be related to a Sunni?
No, the Sunnis and the Shias split off. One after the Prophet Muhammad died, the Sunnis followed his bodyguard, and the Shias followed his Muhammad's cousin. And the Shias practice more they practice more religious holidays around saints and stuff, and the Sunnis think that's wrong. That's the main difference. One follows his ex-bodyguard, and the other one follows his cousin after Muhammad died. But Iran is more a Western country, which is the Mecca of Shia Islam. It's more liberal.
Yeah, I met an Iranian girl. I was telling Shrimp in Berlin.
They don't do suicide. They're not known for doing suicide attacks. It's not part of their religion.
Yeah, she actually was traveling alone, which is something you don't see that often when you are traveling abroad as a lone female.
Yeah, because the Persian women can drive, and can women in Saudi Arabia even still drive?
I think last year they got it. Women are able to drive now in Saudi Arabia, but yeah, let alone a lone female who is Iranian or Persian. So that was cool to see.
You wouldn't.
She didn't have her face covered, but she did have
Yeah.
pretty much everything else covered.
You wouldn't. So you wouldn't. You like really probably would not see that from a woman coming from Saudi Arabia.
Oh no, definitely not. Or
It's just those little differences.
Yeah, yeah.
Now Saudi Arabia has more money. They might have like fancier hotels and buildings, but once you leave those buildings and you're in the real Saudi Arabia, it's gonna be a real difference.
We got another vaccine question from Chris. What do you guys think about the possibility that the vaccine could be the quote mark of the beast?
Well, ShrimpZoo is way more religious than Addy adds, so I could probably handle this question way better, even though you're slamming me, Chris Anderson.
Yeah, he's been roasting you today.
Yeah, so I'm like, he's like agnostic, I guess. I don't know.
Something like that.
Something similar. I'm like, I'm not really sure what I am, but
you have a picture of Jesus on your patio. You got two pictures of Jesus. Remember,
Right.
Remember, that's what we were talking about the other night.
Well, he's pretty cool, I think. Jesus, he's like a hippie and stuff. I don't know. He had nice hair, nice long hair. Looked like a pothead. I don't know. Jesus seemed pretty cool.
He looked like me, guys.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just kidding.
Kind of.
He was taller.
But yeah, Mark of the Beast, dude. With everything going on, that is a possibility. Things are going crazy. I won't leave anything out. Aliens, Mark of the Beast. We could leave it all in there. That's why you should be prepping. Things are like no one ever thought there'd be a pandemic, civil unrest, police stations burning down to the ground, shootings. In Rochester the other day, there was 16 people shot. In the same night in Buffalo, 5 people shot, and 3 of them died. No, like before any of this happened, that would be top story in the news for like a month. But it's just like it's happening, and that's only these 2 cities. A couple of days ago, it's happening like that every day. These fires in the West Coast making it uninhabitable. There's gonna be mass migrations. World's changing, so things are going crazy. There's also that locust plague too, which that's, to be honest, that's like Bible type stuff.
What's that? Oh, the locusts?
Yeah, you know, because they talk about locust plagues and stuff in the Bible. Just makes, you know.
Locusts, floods,
I think
fires.
I think born again Christians, people who believe in like apocalypse and revelations, I think they're probably have some fires and locust predictions for the apocalypse coming up. So that, you know.
But the vaccine as the mark of the beast.
I mean, why? Well, but I don't really know what that means or why.
Yeah. He might be talking about Paul Cottrell's.
See, here's the thing I worry about.
Of the beast.
Here's the thing I worry. Here's the thing I worry about the vaccine. Have you ever seen Children of Men? In the future, nobody can have kids. What if everybody takes the vaccine and it sterilizes everybody? No, like what if it does a weird thing, and then there's no coming back? That's why I'm not taking it for years until I see a ton of people take it.
Or they make it so it only sterilizes certain people with certain alleles.
So I don't really believe in the
genotypes.
Conspiracy theories and stuff, but it is true that like Bill Gates had vaccine trials in Africa and India, and they didn't work out so well, and they killed a lot of people. And he is banned from India through like his nonprofit vaccine orgs. So I don't believe in conspiracies really, but that is true. And so vaccines don't always work out the best. Sometimes they kill people.
I'm not going to take a vaccine anytime soon.
Even though you've taken like 20 before, and I'm
not 20.
I'm about to like have my face filled with shingles because I didn't get the vaccine, but this guy took the vaccine. He's not gonna have any shingles, but
nope.
That's pretty messed. Wait, yo, leave a comment. Can I still get the chickenpox vaccine, guys? Leave a comment immediately. Can ShrimpZoo get the chickenpox vaccine still?
He just doesn't want to get shingles.
Chickenpox.
But shout out to Chris.
No, it doesn't work like that, does it?
Chris Anderson.
It doesn't work
I don't
like
think
that.
it does.
Yeah.
And then we got Ellen. Love and hugs, Addy. Would love to hang with you again. I hung out with Ellen at George Webb's Charette in Maryland.
Ellen
Brown. Yeah, she's quite
giving you love and hugs.
Quite a warm person. She has a boyfriend, so don't get any ideas, Shrimp.
I'm just laughing at the comment.
She's a little weirded out by you, Shrimp.
Yeah, I wear a mask for the videos, but when we end the live stream, I'm gonna take it off. It's super annoying actually for the videos because Yeah, you're breathing like warm, moist air. Probably isn't good for you, like inside for no reason.
Taz, and then Chris says the telltale sign would be if we cannot buy or sell without it. I think you are right there.
Well, yeah, that's about to happen though. You're not gonna be able to go in the stores without the vaccine or like a little
Dude,
green
don't
check
say
on your
that. Do you
phone.
actually believe that's gonna happen?
Well, look at China. You can't go anywhere in China without the little green check on your phone that says you don't have COVID. Yeah, you're gonna have China, the teachers and everything have to have it. Russia too, all the teachers, and they're complaining that they have to get the vaccine. Yeah, you're gonna have to get the vaccine, especially in Western worlds. Africa and stuff, no, you're not gonna have to get the vaccine. You're just gonna get really bad flu and then maybe die. Probably won't die, but it's not gonna be fun to get COVID. Yeah, you're gonna have to get the vaccine and to like enter stores and stuff. I think in the future
Here's your answer, Shrimp.
in China.
Chickenpox vaccine is worthless
Damn,
if
Taz.
you've had the infection.
Yeah,
I was
that's what I was
guessing that was
figuring.
happening.
Yeah, I
You
pretty
gotta
much
get it
figured
beforehand.
that. That sucks. We got somebody who will take the vaccine but didn't get it, and then we got an anti-vaxxer who did take the vaccine.
Nobody's an anti-vaxxer or vaccinated.
Addy adds is secretly pro-vaccine.
4-year-old me was just, I was like, whatever, just poke it in there. Steve has not had any vaccines in his life
Really?
because he's that old, and he's not taking a COVID-19 one. If
How
he can
old
ever.
is Steve? If he's never had any vaccines, like
I'm sure we can look that
he's
up.
like 1 month old.
Well, no, I'm guessing he's at least 50, just based on his avatar.
Oh, because it's like a green like default picture. Yeah.
Okay.
My avatar is sweet.
Let's
I
go
think.
here. Linda. Shout out to Linda.
We need to change the avatar in the podcast.
Linda follows me on Instagram, people.
Follow ShrimpZoo on Twitter.
On Twitter. We're gonna make a Instagram for Shrimp
Yeah, I need
too.
it because I got some cool pictures.
Addy Ads, ADDYADDS on Instagram.
Shout out,
ShrimpZoo
Linda.
on Twitter. ShrimpZoo. And then you can follow me on Twitter too. One Addy Ads. And let's see what Marty says. The enzyme will light up Bill Gates' human implantable quantum dot microneedle vaccination delivery system. Luciferase. What? They did not name it that.
Yo, back to Israel though. What do you think about the wall in Israel?
The Palestine wall?
Yeah, separates the.
I mean, that almost like defines what the apartheid is to a certain extent.
What do you think about the wall that Trump and a lot of people want to build in America? Do you think it's any similar to that, or do you think it's like completely different?
You mean the wall down south?
Yeah, the border wall with Mexico. Do you think there's any similarities to that, or you think it's like completely way different?
No, that's very, very much different.
It is. If you boil it down to just the basics, they're both walls separating different people. But
that's kind of true. My cousin had a very interesting
different
take on this. He thought that Israel deserved that land because they got it by force. So he had kind of the might is right ideology as far as land ownership. But then it's like, well, doesn't that mean Palestine has the right to just fight them back for it right now? You know,
if Israel gives the land back to them, then everybody here should move back to Africa and China and Europe and get out of here and give the land back to the Native Americans. Like, you need to go back to Mexico or like slice yourself in half. Send half yourself to Mexico, half yourself to Europe. I'll slice myself into like 20 pieces and send them all over the world.
Why do you think that's the same thing?
I don't know. Like, you can't tell everyone in America to like leave now and give it back to the Native Americans. You can't tell everyone in Israel to leave.
Do you think it's because it's way more recent that's different?
You're gonna move. How many people in Israel are Jewish? Like 6. There's population's like 8 million. There's like 5 or 6 million of those are Jewish.
75% of 8 million.
You can't move 5 or 6 million. That's like insane. You can move 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's about 6 million people.
Yeah, I mean, that's inhumane. That's like genocide, basically.
Yeah,
you can't do that. They have, in the end, whatever it is, like I don't know what it is, 1 state, 2 state solution, whatever it is. In the end, they just have the Israelis and the Palestinians have to learn to live peacefully as neighbors, because they're both there. Even if there's two states, they're still going to be intermingled. They just have to learn to live peacefully, but I don't think they will. It's similar to the Armenians and the where is it the Azeris. How they're fighting over that little space of land, the Christians versus the Muslims over there in the Caucasus. I don't think it'll be solved, because they won't learn to live peacefully. Even if they do, the rest of the world's Muslim population still won't like Israel.
So could I just let's just take your neighbor's land, and then when he gets home and he's like, "Wait, what are you doing?" We'll just be like, "Oh, just get over it, dude." Like,
what do you think the solution is?
Let's give the land back to the natives while we're at it.
What do you think the solution is? Should Israel not be a country anymore? Should it be a two-state country? Should they give up some of their land to the Palestinians?
I think they've taken too much land. I think that's almost undeniable. I think the argument could be made that they have no rights to the land.
Should they give? So they gave Gaza.
So I would say at the very least they've taken more than they should have.
The Palestinians should have Gaza and the West Bank, and then what? You think they should have Jerusalem, all of Jerusalem?
Well, let's talk about Jerusalem, because Donald Trump moved the embassy of the United States to Israel to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's kind of problematic. I feel like if we had better relations with the Islamic world, that would be way better for America,
Mm-hmm.
Somehow China managed to have concentration camps for Muslims, for millions of Muslims. They have concentration camps, and they're sterilizing people just because they're Muslim. America's nothing like that at all. We had nothing like that here, but we're the center target for Islam. China should be the target, not us. They're doing way worse stuff. We don't have very good relations with the Islamic world. I think we should have better relations.
Well, China's not bombing the Arabic countries.
No, we need to do whatever China's doing. Well, not the concentration camps, but how they have good relations with the Islamic world.
Well, they don't bomb their countries.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I don't think the drone solved. Droning is a weak weapon, because you always kill innocent people, and then they grow up to be
to hate you.
Yeah. Freedom fighters
killed his father,
terrorists.
but you made an enemy of all his sons.
And all the neighbors, because that house got blown up. Just the whole neighborhood will hate you, then the whole city. I don't think the drone bombings work out, because I feel like it's, in the end, it's negative benefit.
Yeah. It's, Hemingway said something to the effect of, you should stop writing midway through a sentence so you can pick up more easily the next day. That being said, we are going to end this broadcast. We've been going about an hour now on the Pandemic Podcast, Patriot Great Awakening with ShrimpZoo and yours truly. We talked about a lot, even stuff that is not exclusive to Israel. Please give us a subscription and a like. ShrimpZoo is still monetized, which is great. We're going to have his store up and running very shortly. I, unfortunately, have been demonetized. Therefore, I will have no such store up and running anytime soon. As such, please, if you would be so kind, go and give me a Patreon subscription or a GoFundMe one-time payment as well. You can do $1 if you want, or $2. I also got a subscribe star. And if people want to check out my brand new tube account, which again, we're going to make one for Shrimp soon here as well. We're going to try to get...
You are going to have some Addy Ads merch, though, on the website, and some merch collabs. Shrimp times Addy Ads merch.
Yeah, so we're going to get
mask and t-shirts,
collab
hoodies.
merches.
We have women's leggings, women's shirts, socks. We have some really sweet socks and sweatshirts that are about to come out. We actually have some really cool stuff. Been working on it for 3 or 4 days at least.
Yeah, I got my demonetization badge. Shrimp's got his bleeding subscribers badge.
Yeah, I'm monetized, but somehow they love to demonetize every single video that I make, and then I always have to fight it, and then it's too late by the time it is monetized. If it does, a lot of my videos are not acceptable, or a lot of them are like have restrictions where it's 18 and over.
Yeah,
So,
and then they bleed your subscribers like they do with Paul too. They like make you slowly lose subscribers.
yeah, I've been at like 15K pretty steady for a minute, but if it those are like the true shrimpers, we're gonna work our way around it though.
Please send me the video, Chris. Put it in the comments because sometimes I don't see the live chat comments. It takes a while to load them initially right after the video, but if you put it in the comments, I'll see it right away. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay frosty.
Stay shrimpy.
All the best from the west of New York, Buffalo region. Until next time.
Shrimp out. Shrimp